You know, when Jesus came to the Jews, after thousands of years of being God's chosen people, think of what he came to: the organized Jewish community, leadership, intelligentsia, teaching. The Jews that were the heirs of the very oracles of God. What did he come to? What had become of them when Jesus finally came? Well, the nation had gone through many, many ups and downs as a people of God. Many times in rebellion, many times buying into the culture of the surrounding nations, many times falling into sin, such that over the course of centuries, without them knowing, they fell into deception, without them knowing it. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. Jesus was rejected of his own people, of his own Jewish brethren, just like Joseph was rejected of his brethren. Is it possible that a people of God can be deceived? Is it possible for them to become hardened? Is it possible for them to, over the course of centuries, just gradually grow away from the very God that they claim to serve? And is it possible that that very thing has happened to Christianity over the course of the last 2,000 years, as history and times and changes and politics and culture and corruption has seeped in? Is it possible that there are doctrines right now within the church, similar to the time that when Jesus came to the Jews, ideas, ways of thinking? Is it possible that that too has happened to us? And I say absolutely. Maybe it's only fair to prove that just as it happened to Israel, it has happened to under the church. I was praying last night. There's this movie I like. Anybody should watch and like this movie. I really think this is a movie. It's called The Big Country. It's an old kind of Western movie. It stars Gregory Peck. I grew up without a father. My dad died when I was 4 years old. I grew up without a father. And somehow deep inside I've always been looking for male role models because I just never had that. And I try to find good role models, and I have found that if you look at the life of Gregory Peck, I read a comment from his wife once, and this is while he was still alive, and she said that she was amazed that a person like him even existed, that a man like him even existed. That's how impressed, after all the years she was with him, that's how impressed she was with this man, this imperfect man, this fallen man. But he had a character, and in that movie he plays a character. And at one point, there's a scene where his character is in question. His manhood is in question. And there's this Mexican farmhand or helper around the ranch in this old Western who plays a real endearing character in the movie. And there's this moment where he says of the character that Gregory Peck is so wonderfully playing, he says, "A man like him is very rare." Speaking of the character in the movie, but still, you get the point. He said, "A man like him is very rare." And yesterday I was watching this movie, and it just again struck me, how rare is the man Christ Jesus? How rare is this person, the man Christ Jesus? I say a man like him is very rare. Not only rare, but priceless. Priceless. Why? Because there's only one. Only one of him. Only one human being has ever run the gauntlet, resisted sin at every point, overcome everything that he faced, and more than anyone would ever face. Only one. A man like him is very rare. And God the Father will not ever ignore this, and it will be the resounding truth of creation that a man like him is very rare. A human being like Jesus is very rare. I challenge anybody that goes to a Trinitarian church that ever happens by this, and if you get what I'm saying, listen. Listen when you go to church. Listen to your teachers. Listen when you read a book written by a Trinitarian. Listen when you hear a sermon. Who glorifies the humanity of Christ? Who lifts up the human person of Jesus? Who gives that man credit for resisting and for overcoming? Who among the Trinitarians? The Trinitarian paradigm is very, very, it's like a prison. It prevents this from happening. It's a conceptual box that prevents the human person of Jesus from being recognized by his own people. But Ephesians 4:13 will come to pass. We shall all come into the unity of faith and the full and accurate knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. That's the destiny of the Christian church. What is that destiny? A perfect man. A perfect man.